Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Nurul Shakila binti Sya'al S62542 as a presenter number 1. The second presenter is Nur Shazilia binti Osman S62931. The third presenter is Nur Shahira binti Muhammad Yusof S61474. The next presenter is Julia Zamira binti Jalil S63419. And the last presenter is Nur Afina Dayini binti Mazlan S634511. The first case between Semi and Mas Sindiran Berhad is about consideration. The general principle is an agreement made without consideration is void. According to case Kuri versus Misa, consideration is some right, interest, profit or benefit occurring to the one party or undertaken by the other. Next is the law. In Section 2 the Contract Act 1950, consideration for the promise is defined as when at the desire of the promiser, the promisee or any other person has done or abstained from doing, or does or abstain from doing, or promise to do or to abstain from doing something such act or subsistence or promise.
Thank you to Shakila. Next, I would like to present about exception. According to Section 26B of the Contract Act 1950, that it is the promise to compensate, wholly or in part. A person who has already voluntarily done something for the promiser was legally compellable to do, or is a promise to pay a debt barred by limitation law. Next, the fact of the case offerer is Mas Sindiran Berhad and Semi is offeree. The consideration in his 10 acres of residential land and Rm 2 million.
Thank you, Shazilia. Next, I will continue with application of the law. According to case Thomas vs. Thomas, law did not see the value even though consideration is 2 million. But the value is not important but must be sufficient acceptable by law. In the case, the contract between them is invalid because Semi agreed to sell his 10 acres of residential land to Mas Sindiran Berhad at a price of 2 million, which was far below from Bad because of his desperate condition, which is in need of money to settle his business debt and save himself from bankruptcy, proceeding from creditors, and the quantum of value of consideration is not important, but must be sufficient acceptable by law based on the case of Pen Swing Kim with Back I Hope. Next is a conclusion. The fact that insufficient consideration was given does not invalidate the contract such as Pen Swing Kim with Back I Hope case. That's all for first case.
As for the study case 2, it's between Leong and MAZ Company SDN BHD. In Leong's situation, the general principle is an agreement which is uncertain or is not capable of being made certain is void. According to case Karupan Chetty versus Swatien at 1916, the requirement of certainty was not met. The parties agreed upon a granting of a lease at 35 ringgit per month for as long as he likes. As for the lawsuit, Section 30 of Contract Act 1950 states that an agreement which is uncertain or not is capable of being made certain is void. Thus, in this case, there is no exception.
Thank you, Julia. So, I will continue with fact of the case. Leong has been searching for a potential tenant after the pandemic, and he was so happy because Mas company proposed to rent out the premise with the price at 1,500 per month. The duration of the rent states that Mas Sindiran Berhad is allowed to stay in the place for as long as company wished. However, Leong received better deals from other potential tenants and refused to proceed with the grant of the rent to Mass Company, claiming that the contract was not valid. Next is application of the law. In Section 2A, it was stated an offer is defined as an expression of willingness to contract on certain conditions made with intention that it shall become binding after it is accepted by the offerer. It is because in this case, Leong just silent and did not making any acceptance toward the Mass Company offer due to he find the new potential tenants. According to case Karupan Chetty v. Shua Tien 1916, the requirement of certainty was not met. The parties agreed upon a granting of a lease at Rm 35 ringgit per month for as long as he liked.
Next, which is conclusion. In conclusion, there is no contract between Leong and Mas Liang Berhad because it is invalid and he did not make any acceptance.